All right. Now that we have a quorum, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our State Government Committee, Wednesday, March the 13th, 2024. Mr. Clerk, would you take the roll, please?
Representatives Alexander, Bricken, Butler, Carringer, Chisholm, Dixie, Eldridge, Haston, Holsclaw, Hurt, Jernigan, Johnson, Leatherwood, Littleton, McCalman, Miller, Pearson, Powell, Powers, Rudder, Chairman Kiesling.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Wonderful. All right. It was on this day in history in 1852 that the Uncle Sam cartoon figure made its debut in the New York Lantern Weekly. Moving on to 1923, the American inventor Lee DeForest demonstrates his sound on film moving pictures in New York City. And it was in 1969 on this day that Apollo 9, the third human spaceflight in the low Earth orbit program, returned to Earth. It is, let's see, Tanya Edwards, who's a former Lady Vol basketball star. She played from 86 to 80 to 1986 to 90. This today is her birthday. And the number one song by the Beatles, 1965, it was 8 days a week. Now, we are okay. All right. Do we have any personal announcements or personal orders? Yes, Chair Lady Littleton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and y'all please bear with me because I have several guests here today. I have shadows from Stewart County, Kinsley, and a shadow from Roane County, Reagan. Would y'all stand up and let us make you welcome, please?
Very good. Okay. I'm sorry.
I have a
Excuse
little
me.
list here. I'm sorry.
Yes, go right ahead.
And I have
please.
my two sheriffs from Dixon and Cheatham County, the Tims, Sheriff Tim Binkley and Sheriff Tim Eads. And let's pray for all of our sheriffs and for their safety and for all. Thank them for all that they do.
Absolutely.
So next I have Mayor Ryle with the Dixon County leadership. Would y'all please stand up and let us welcome you?
Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, it appears half the crowd is your fan club there, Chair Lady. Chairman Bricken, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I also have a couple of shout outs. First of all, I have a shadow, a ninth grader, Andrew Silvertooth. If you'll stand up, he's a ninth grader from Hillsborough, Tennessee. And he's with the Tennessee Eagles Forum. And over to the wall is Miss Frances Arthur that does a marvelous job in the Tennessee Forums for so many young people. So let's shout out for her. And lastly, and certainly not least, is my sheriff, the great Chad Parton. If he would stand up, and he does a wonderful job for Coffee County.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Bricken. All right, moving on to Speaker Johnson. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two guests with me. I have my sheriff. Would you stand up, please, Sheriff John Fuson from Montgomery County? And behind the sheriff, I have a young man, Hayden Wallace, who is my shadow today. He's a senior at Stewart County High School and going to Middle Tennessee State University. He's passing up Austin Peay to go spend time with Chairman Terry.
There you go.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, all right. You're very welcome. All right. Representative Alexander, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. And I don't have a sheriff here. I think he's putting criminals behind bars today. But anyway, if he is here, he didn't tell me he was here, which is not a good sign. No, but I do have a shadow today, and her name is Leah Pendarvis. Leah Pendarvis, please stand. She's a lovely lady. And she's from Rutherford County.
All right. All right. Now I do want to make a couple of recognitions myself. Flying high with me today around Cordell is Sophie Moore. She is also a Teen Eagle. Where are you, Sophie? Is she here in the room? She is. Whoa, she's back here. Okay. A little about Sophie. She's from down in beautiful Rutherford County in the community of Milton. She is a freshman, and she is working with our Eagle Forum, and so we appreciate her being here. Now, also, I would be remiss if we did not recognize our senior member, although this week he has already been recognized, but our senior member, not only of this committee, and I'm not talking referencing in age, I'm talking about in years of service. We love you, Larry Miller. Would you please stand and be recognized? March the 11th is Larry Miller's birthday. So we wish him a very, very happy birthday. So with that further, anyone else? Yes, Representative Pearson, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, Chairman. And again, remembering our fight for equal justice and rights in our country. Today in 1956, 19 senators, 82 House members in Congress signed what's called a Southern Manifesto opposing integration of schools. And as we all know, as we send our kids to schools, our nieces, our nephews, schools often are more segregated now, even than they were at that time. And so the work for us to continue to make our society more equitable and just and provide public funding in particular to our schools is so important. And so just want us to remember that day in history as well. Thank you, Chairman.
All right. Thank you. You are welcome. And Representative McCalman, you recognize, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to welcome Sheriff Guy Buck from McNairy County out in the back on behalf of Representative Gant right over here.
Sure.
Mr. Sheriff, if you would stand up so we can recognize you.
All right. Very good. Are we ready to get started? Further, anyone else? Announcements or person recognition? All right. I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Chair Lady Littleton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we have some sheriffs that weren't recognized. Could we just have them all stand and recognize them all at one time?
Of course.
And thank them for their service? Thank you.
Would you please stand with us? Yes, thank you. Thank you for your service. We appreciate you and pray for your safety each and every day. All right, if there's no objections, here's what we're faced with. Our Chairman Doggett, he has some special guests with him today. He is number 30 and 31 on the calendar, and out of respect for him, we're going to allow him to come forward and hopefully knock these two bills out, and then he can leave, he can depart with his guests. So members, please take your attention to we'll begin with item number 30, House Bill 2682. I'd like to get a motion and a second. We do. We have a motion and a second. You also have an amendment which rewrites the bill, Chairman. And if you would, that amendment, would you give us that amendment code, please?
Yes, sir, and good morning. I think the amendment code is 14106.
You are absolutely correct. Need a motion and a second. Let's get it on the bill. So those in favor, amendment 14106, that'll be, let me repeat, 14106. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. We now have this amendment on House Bill 2682. Chairman Doggett, you're recognized, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Last year, the General Assembly allocated about $140 million to help with the SRO program to make sure that we had one in every school, public school across this great state. As of October this last year, we have still not fulfilled those numbers to get them across. We had somewhere around 566 schools that were still without SROs. A unique challenge that our friends in law enforcement have faced is finding folks that we could put in those schools. And so what we are doing here is to help, this bill will help plug that gap, that applicant gap, with vetted law enforcement retirees who are willing to continue serving their communities by returning to work and being an SRO. Now, last year we had a return to work bill that would allow them to receive 100% of their salary, but only 70% of their retirement benefit. And essentially what this bill will do is give them that opportunity to receive 100% salary and 100% of their retirement benefit. And so the agencies can use those existing funds that the state has allocated for SROs to put these men and women into the school systems to help cover those schools. And I will say we got a positive recommendation out of pensions. And
Very good.
insurance.
Thank you, Chairman Doggett. Well, where is this postured in the Senate currently?
That is a good question. And
Phil, forgive me. I didn't research this myself. I just wondered. That's okay. Any questions to the sponsor? Any questions? No. Okay. We got a call for the question. Yes, we do. And if no objections, we are ready to vote. All those in favor of House Bill 2682 as amended, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. And you are on to Finance, Ways, and Means, sir, with that amendment attached.
thank you so much.
Moving on, you're welcome, sir. Item 31, members, House Bill 2683. Chairman Doggett, we need let's get this one. Got a motion and a second, and you have an amendment that rewrites this bill as well. Tracking code, sir.
It is 14049.
That is correct. We already have a motion and a second to get this on your bill. Those in favor, if no objections, those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail, and Amendment 14049 is now on House Bill 2683. Chairman Doggett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Over the last at least 3 years, we've been working on innovative ways to help with the recruitment and retention of our friends in law enforcement. We have settled on what seems to be a very good idea here, and it is a hazardous duty retirement benefit for local law enforcement, correctional officers, and firefighters. This is going to be the same population that would benefit, that would be eligible for the current bridge benefit with mandatory retirement. This benefit is exactly 1/2 of the benefit amount of the current bridge benefit. Right now, there are 10 counties and about 30 municipalities who have adopted or are taking advantage of the bridge. And so that it's our hope that this new benefit will be more financially attainable for other cities and counties, while also allowing the current bridge agencies to adopt this hazard duty benefit to add an additional benefit for their employees. There are some eligibility requirements that have to be met. You have to meet the eligibility requirement for retirement, have at least 20 years of service, credible service in the TCRS as a public safety officer. This would begin at the employee's date of retirement or at age 60, whichever is later, and ends when the person reaches full Social Security age, which would be at 67. In order for one of the political subdivisions of this state to be able to participate and adopt this new benefit, they're going to have to pass a resolution authorizing an actuary study to determine the liability associated with providing the benefit and accept that responsibility for the cost of the study. They'll also need to pass a resolution authorizing the benefit and accepting the liability, and have funded status in the TCRS for at least 70% after implementation of the benefit. They can pay for it through a lump sum increase in the employer's contribution rate, or they can amortize the liability over 10 years. The benefit will apply to all current and future retirees after the adoption of this benefit by the political subdivision. And I will say that this also received a positive recommendation from Council on Pensions. And
All right,
Insurance.
very good. Very well. All right, questions to sponsor. Yes, Chairman Bricken, you're recognized.
Just to try to get a better understanding, is this trying to keep people in law enforcement locally? I mean, is the purpose is for staffing? And if you could just explain that better to me.
Chairman Doggett.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So you're exactly right. It's to help keep those who are in law enforcement now, but also it's a recruiting tool for folks that are thinking about coming into law enforcement. I don't know the exact numbers. When I went through the academy, they said about the average time frame for folks that were coming into law enforcement when I did was about 5 years. And so there's a lot of turnover. A lot of your smaller rural counties have a difficult time keeping officers there with any longevity because they may find other areas across the state where they can gain more, financially, or they may leave law enforcement altogether. And so we want to make sure that by adding this extra benefit that the cities and counties can opt in to participate in, that might help keep our friends there in law enforcement longer, and also an extra tool in the toolbox to get folks to come into the
Chairman
profession.
Bricken, follow up? No, he says no. Further questions to the sponsor? I see none. No objection. We're ready to vote. Those in favor of House Bill 2683 as amended, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. And Chairman Doggett, you're headed to Finance, Ways and Means with the amendment attached. Now, we are going to commission you to make sure you take your guest out and buy their lunch today. We got a motion on that. Thank you. Wait a minute. I don't know that he's got any money, honey.
I forgot my wallet
Okay.
at home this morning.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Doggett. You're always a friend. We love you, brother. Thank you. Let's go back to the calendar, top of the calendar. Item number 1, it's House Bill 1887. And I think Chairman Boyd is carrying the ammunition today. Is that correct, Chairman? We got a motion and we have a second. There are no amendments to this one. Chairman Boyd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. And Mr. Chairman, I know I'm a little bit out of order on this, but before he left, I did want to recognize that Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan and Deputy B.J. Stafford are both here today as well.
Absolutely.
And yes, make them feel welcome. And I also have a shadow with me today, Mr. James Wood. And I asked him, I said, any relation to the actor? And I realized that the
Yeah.
actor is Woods. But he's from Bedford County, and he's here with me today, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Boyd. We also have, I think, a personal order. We'll go out of order for Chair Lady Carringer. You're
Well,
recognized.
Yes, I wanted to recognize Sheriff Barong out of Blount County, Maryville. He's not Knox County, but he's our neighbor and good friend in Knoxville. So he just walked out. So I just wanted to recognize
Okay,
and give him
very
a shout
good.
out.
Well, he didn't hear a word you
Awesome
said,
sheriff.
did he?
I'm
I'm sorry.
here is outside. Awesome sheriff from Blount County.
We'll have to chase him down or something. Okay, further, we don't have any. Chairman Boyd, we're back to you, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. House Bill 1887 is a very important bill that was brought to me by the Tennessee National Guard. And just to give you a little bit of background and clarification, National Guardsmen, both Air Force and Army National Guardsmen, can be called to active duty service both by the president or by the governor. So they could be on federal orders or state orders. When they are called to federal active duty on federal orders, they are protected under the Soldier Sailor Protection Act, or the USERA, which is the Uniformed Services Employment Reemployment Rights Act. But when they're mobilized for purposes by the governor under state orders, there's a different set of rules. And so we have a version of that in statute. And there was protection if the governor called them up involuntarily. But if they volunteered to be mobilized, there was no protection to guarantee that they got their job back. This bill will correct that, and it will give them the protections that they have if they were involuntarily mobilized. The other thing that it does, if a soldier or an airman gets injured while they're on federal active duty, they're basically covered under VA benefits, just like an active duty soldier at Fort Campbell, Kentucky would be. But if they get injured while they're on state orders, there's always been kind of a military version of workers' compensation. It was actually very limited, though, to the length of time that they were mobilized. That's the only benefit that they were eligible for. So this clarifies and changes it so that they have the same protections that any injured worker would have under workers' compensation insurance. And it goes a little bit further. And it says that if someone is injured in the line of duty while on state orders, we will pay that workers' comp benefit at the higher of either be their military pay or what their pay would be in their civilian job that they left in order to come on active duty. And so the higher of the two. And that's a new change as well. Mr. Chairman, that's pretty much what the bill does. And take any questions.
Well explained. Thank you, sir. Any questions to the sponsor? Yes, Chairman Bricken, you're recognized.
A great bill, Chairman. I just have a question for knowledge base. Involuntarily mobilized, involuntarily mobilized. Could you help explain how do you get involuntarily mobilized?
Chairman, you're
Yeah.
recognized.
So
Voluntarily.
if you get a call, no, we're talking state or federal.
State.
So state, if the governor called you to active duty involuntarily, you just get a notification there's a tornado. We're using you for disaster relief. That would be involuntary. Voluntary would be where they say, hey, we need some folks for a mission here in the state or something like that, and you say, yeah, I'd like to do that, and you raise your hand and volunteer.
Thank you.
Chairman Bricken, follow up? No, he says no. Further questions to the sponsor? None. We have a question on the bill, and I see no objections. Let us vote on House Bill 1887. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. And Chairman Boyd, you are headed to Finance, Ways and Means. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chairman of the committee.
All right, now members, we have an emergency. Chair Lady Hazelwood has I wouldn't say emergency, but she is needed desperately over in finance. And Chair Lady, I'm sure the gentleman standing behind you would not be offended if we brought you. We are going to make an exception. You will owe us for this. You understand that, though. But let's draw our attention to item number
We will do a
10.
depreciation factor based on, no.
Let's draw our attention to item number 10. House Bill 2325. I need a motion. Let's get a motion. Yeah, we got a motion. We got a second. This one, we have an amendment which looks like rewrites the bill, Chair Lady. Can you give us that tracking code?
015140.
That is correct. Got a motion, and yes, we have a second on the amendment. Let's get it on. If no objections, those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. It is now on the bill. Chair Lady, you're recognized. And make it short. I'm sure you will.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will mention that the amendment that we put on that rewrote the bill just now is a result of the fact that we had a number of members who were working in this particular area. So what we've done with the amendment is combine the work. Chairman Vaughn and Senator White in the Senate had been working on something, as well as Chairman Watson and myself. So we have combined that, and also the administration has had some input. Basically, as we all know, the use of AI is increasing rapidly and pretty much without regulation or control. You know, we passed in this House just recently the Elvis Act to address a piece of that, but that is just a piece. You have state government and businesses that are still learning how to navigate the landscape, how to use AI to do business more efficiently, but at the same time to protect information and all that. In order not to get left behind, we as a state have to develop a framework for leveraging AI safely and effectively. This bill would create an advisory council as you'll read in the amendment, there's the makeup of the council is outlined, the members would be, and who some are appointees, some are there by virtue of their role as like the LIS, the director of LIS and so forth. But this council would be required to meet and submit a plan, an action plan to the governor and to two speakers on how we position our state to competitively ensure that its citizens capture the full economic benefit from AI and responsibly leverage AI to improve the efficiency of our state and also for our local government services. And there's a timeline on this. The committee by June 30 would have to submit an interim report containing some minimum information, and then a final report would be due by September 30 of 2025. So, and I'm sorry, that's June 30, 2025, the first interim report, and then the final report by September 30, 2025, so that we would have ample time past then for whatever legislation the recommendations from that committee would have us to do. So with that, I stand ready for questions.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Any questions to the sponsor? Yes, we do. Yes. Chairman Powers, you're recognized.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Madam Chair, for bringing this forward. I've had a whole lot of bills that have come through House Banking dealing with AI, the Elvis Act that you mentioned earlier. And as I always say in my committee, we don't have any A and very little I. And but we are learning more and more about this all the time. And I really appreciate you bringing it forward. I even wish we could move up the dates a little bit, so because we're going to have some more bills that are, I'm sure, coming through next year. And we had 3 in there yesterday dealing with AI. So we need to learn more about it. And I appreciate you bringing this forward. Thank you.
All right. Further questions? Or would you like to respond, Chair
I'm
Lady?
just going to say, I think the chairman is exactly right. And it is a complicated issue, though. So while we want to do it as quickly as possible, we want to make sure that we take into account as much information as we can. And I think, given that it's an election year and there are other things that will be going on this summer, so having the interim report June 30 of 2025 is, I think that's a good date. And hopefully by then we'll have some really good information, and then the final report in September that would allow us ample time again before that next session to produce any legislation that we need.
Further questions will you have a call for the question on the bill? I see no objections. Let us vote on House Bill 2325 as amended. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. And Chair Lady, guess where you're going? Finance, Ways and Means. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you,
Thank
committee.
you.
And I do appreciate you taking me out
Of
of order.
course.
And to my
That's
colleagues waiting
fine.
behind me, thank you.
You will pay for this. You understand that. All right, Chairman Whitson, we've been looking forward to you, sir. You are coming in at item number 2. You're carrying House Bill 2088, Chairman. And do we have an amendment? We do not.
No, sir.
So we do have I thought I heard a motion. Yes, got a motion and a second. Chairman, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee, for taking me. I'm missing Finance, Ways and Means sub and seeing all our bills go behind the budget. But I appreciate being behind this in front of this committee today. Mr. Chairman, committee, this bill is an honor to carry it for the military department. This bill creates a mechanism for the Tennessee Military Department to enlist and retain skilled members in critical specialties in highly competitive job market. A board that they will create will look at across the formation and identify low manned critical job skills that are left unmanned pose a risk to the department's ability to respond to domestic and to federal missions. The board will then recommend to the adjutant general an amount of incentives to be placed on each job skill up to $10,000. The board will convene several times throughout the year to reassess and ensure these funds continue to be applied to low manned critical job specialties. For instance, there's a shortage of those individuals who maintain the air traffic control equipment and also water purification specialists. That's how they can get these folks and make sure they retain them. Second part of the bill accomplishes what has been done by executive order for the past 23 years. If a state employee is a member of a reserve component of the armed forces and they are called to active federal duty for a contingency operation, their military job, and if their military job pays less than what they are making at the state as in their civilian job, the state will pay the difference in wages so the employee does not suffer a financial disadvantage when called to active duty. Intent is not to we want folks to join the Guard Reserve, and if we do this, we'll make sure that they do not suffer a financial loss when called to serve our nation and state. With that, Mr. Chairman, I renew my motion.
Yes, thank you, Chairman, for that. We have, Representative McCallum, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to my honorable colleague from the other side of Williamson County, thank you for bringing this bill. That's a good bill. Anything that we can do to support our veterans, to make sure that they are taken care of whenever they are willing to put themselves in harm's way to serve our country, I think is a good thing. So thank you for this.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. It's no longer serving in the Guard Reserve. It's not 2 weekends or 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. It is a commitment for life.
Thank you, sir. Further questions to the sponsor? See none. Got a question called, so that no objections. That let us vote on House Bill 2088. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. You're headed to Finance, Ways and Means. Congratulations. Have
Thank
a
you,
good
Mr. Chairman.
ride.
Thank
now.
you, committee.
You bet. Thank you, sir. And next we have, whoops. Yes, I am reminded, members, House Bill number 3, for the record, has been rolled for 1 week. Please note. House Bill 1889 or 89? Yeah, House Bill 1889. Okay. Leader Camper, always good to have you behind the podium. Get up here. I bet you could give us a big amen on that previous bill, couldn't you?
We can give you a big amen, Mr. Chairman.
That's right. Okay. Leader Kemper is bringing to us, as I said, item number 4, House Bill 2831. Let's get this, get me a motion. We got a motion and a second, but okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You do have an amendment, but
No, I understand. Yes, sir. We
You
had an
want-
amendment that was coming.
shall we go ahead
I
and
think if it's
procedurally
o-
do that?
Yes,
And then,
sir.
okay,
Thank
gotcha. We know what we're doing.
Yes, you do.
Okay, so we've got an amendment. We need to get on the bill, please. It does rewrite the bill. Give us that tracking code, leader, please.
It is 014341.
That is correct. Got a motion, do we? Yes, we do. We got a motion and a second. So let's get it on the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes prevail. It is now on your bill. Leader, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. I know probably most of you all know that this bill has already failed in the Senate, but I did want to thank the members in the subcommittee for helping me with this bill. This bill was designed to help make our waterways safer, particularly with jet skis and the age that people, a minimum age really for people to operate them. And one of our former colleagues we know passed away from an accident on a lake here in Tennessee. And we know that people across the country come to Tennessee, for our lakes. And this bill was designed to ensure that there's safety there. And I really appreciate the testimony in subcommittee from the members, their experiences and things that really brought to bear how important it is to have safe waterways here. So I wanted to personally thank you for that. I do understand it failed in the Senate, and I'm going to ask Mr. Chairman, it's okay to take it off notice, but I did want to thank you all for the work we've done on this, and looking forward to maybe, working with the department so we can get it in a posture next year to actually get this bill passed. Thank you. Mr.
Leader, stay put. Chairman Bricken, you're recognized here.
I am awfully sorry to hear the Senate failed to move on this bill because I think it's great legislation. Is there any particular reason you could share with us why the Senate would not see their way to pass this?
Leader?
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Chairman Brickens, for that. It's interesting, and I kind of get a little upset around this bill because when the bill was sent to the department, they actually said they were neutral on the bill. Which, okay, that's fine, good, thanks. Not for it, not against it. I talked to the commissioner personally before I even presented the bill to make sure that they were neutral on the bill, didn't have a problem with the bill. And he assured me was actually working against the bill in the Senate. And he ended up being very successful in that. So I did reach back to the commissioner and express my displeasure with that. And I followed up with a written letter to him because I feel as if you have a problem with the bill, you should let the member know and try to work with the member to resolve the issue. That did not happen. And so I get blood get a little boiling talking about this because I've been here since 2008 and have never experienced that. And as a person, a member who have been very intentional about being open, honest, fair with people, I actually felt betrayed. But you asked me the question. Okay. And anyway, that's where that's how I feel about that.
Sure.
I expressed my concern to the department. He knows it. I've sent a letter, and the individual, I've had a conversation with them as well.
Chairman Bricken, follow up?
But
No, he says no.
Still don't know why. So there you have it.
Chair Lady, Leader, you have another question here. Chair Lady Carringer, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Leader Camper, for bringing this bill. I was on subcommittee and express your same concerns, and I would hope, I love the waterways. Nobody loves them any more than I do. And we do have a lot more people on our lakes in the state of Tennessee. And no wonder, because they're beautiful.
Yeah.
We live in a beautiful state with beautiful lakes and mountains and rivers. And so this is a shame. And so I want you to know that I believe I can speak for everyone that was in our sub, and I think probably on this committee also, that we are going to be together and working together to make sure our lakes, and I will add our roads,
Yes,
are
right.
safe for all. That is the one duty that we have for being here, is to protect others the best we can. So thank you, and hope that we'll be able to resolve this and be able to get something done with this next year if we're all alive and fortunate to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Lady Carringer. Chairman Holtzclaw, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. And just for clarification, you said Commissioner, that was of TWRA, correct?
Yes, sir.
And
TWRA, yes.
did they also go behind the senator's back, or do you have knowledge of that?
I
Leader?
have no idea. I don't have any information on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Great. Further questions or comments to Leader Camper? Leader Camper, thank you for your time today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And we
Mr. Chairman.
appreciate you so much. Just sorry it
Absolutely.
didn't work.
It's
Okay.
all right. We'll work on it harder.
Of
next
course, we will.
right.
Thank you.
year. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay, to make it official, it is now off notice. Let us move on to item number 5. That will be House Bill 2313 by Representative Travis. I see no amendments. You are recognized. You have a motion. We have a second. You are up, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. I am surprised that I am here today to on an official state song, because I am a man that has no harmony whatsoever. So bear with me on this. But this is an official state song that I would like to put in our books. If you went to the Tennessee Waltz Ball in 2022, you had the honor of hearing a lady, Kelly Lane, perform the Tennessee Waltz. In addition to that, she performed Under a Tennessee Moon. It is a beautiful song. It represents East, Middle, and West Tennessee. And if you have the chance to listen to it, it is a great song. And I'm doing this on the behalf of our state museum who holds the Tennessee Waltz. And with that, I'll take any questions.
All right.
sir.
Thank you, Representative Travis. Any questions to the sponsor? I see none. And we've got a call for the question. No objections. Let us vote on House Bill 2313. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. And the ayes prevail. And we're going to let you just sing us away to calendar and rules.
Thank you, sir.
You are going to sing us away to calendar and rules.
How about
sir.
if I hum it?
Well, that'd work. Okay. We'll accept that. All right. Next, we have Love in the House now. We have item number 6. That's House Bill 2230. And Representative Love, you have no amendments. And this is about holidays and days of special observance. Can't wait. Tell me what's up.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. and
Got a
committee members.
motion and a second.
The proposal is to make the week of October 28th the Reverend Kelly Miller Smith Senior Week of Service and encourage residents of the state to perform works of community service during that week. Reverend Kelly Miller Smith Senior was the president of the national chapter of the NAACP. He also helped establish the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. His church that he pastors right down from here, First Baptist Church, Capitol Hill. And he was a contemporary of Martin Luther King Jr. and a great worker in our country and our state.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Questions to the sponsor? Got a question on the bill. All right. No objections. Let us vote on House Bill 2230. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You are
committee
headed
members.
to calendar and rules.
Thanks, sir.
Representative Love, thank you for your time today. Item number 7. We have a motion and a second. That's House Bill 1622. No amendments. And Representative Hale, good to have you with us today, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honored to be here with y'all today. House Bill 1622 expands the post supplement pay that is offered to post-certified officers it expands it to campus police officers. These officers are sworn officers with the law, perform the same duties, undergo the same training. This just puts them on the same footing. This legislation was actually brought to me by a campus police officer at Motlow in McMinnville. And so once we got to looking into it, they were left out when we did that for other officers. And so this would just bring them into that. And it would just help to give them make them competitive in recruitment and retention of officers. TBR supports this, and UT's chief came down, visited with me one day, and he was very pleased. Any given Saturday, they're in the fall, they're protecting 100,000 plus people, and so this is vital for them. So
very good. All right, you've heard the explanation of the bill. Any questions to the sponsor? No, we got a call for the question. I see no objections. Let us vote. Those in favor of House Bill 1622, please say aye. Those no, and the ayes prevail. And you are headed to Finance, Ways, and Means, sir.
thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. You bet. All right. We're now on item number 8, House Bill 2566, and our handsome chairman, Chairman White, you are here. You are recognized, sir. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Chairman and committee. I appreciate being here. I also there is no amendments. We should be on the original.
I'm sorry? I see none.
See, great.
No, sir.
So I'm also, like Representative Travis, bringing before you a request for a state song. For those who may remember, last session, I invited a gentleman to come sing a song on the state floor, and the song was called Tennessee in My Dreams. This was written by Mackie Kaler. He is a professional songwriter and a lifelong Tennessean. He's lived everywhere from Memphis to the Smokies to Nashville, and now he resides in Columbia. And he wrote this song called Tennessee, Sweet Tennessee, You're Still Home to Me. Lord knows there ain't any other place on earth I'd rather be. Very beautiful song and songwriter. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this, I mentioned he used to live in Memphis. And not to give away my age, but I was his 7th grade science teacher a long time ago.
Oh.
And we have stayed friends ever since he was in 7th grade, now living in Columbia. And so I wanted to honor him by his songwriting abilities and request that we include this as one of our state songs.
Very
Tennessee
good
in
of
My
you.
Dreams.
Yes. Okay. Questions to the sponsor? I see none. We got a call for the question. No objections. Let us vote on House Bill 2566. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail, and you are headed to calendar and rules. Chairman, thank
Most
you.
grateful. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You are welcome. House Bill 2020. That'll be item number 9, members. And that is our Speaker, Speaker Marsh. You're recognized, sir. Got a motion and a second.
Thank you, Mr.
Proceed,
Chairman.
sir. You
Mr.
bet.
Chairman, before I start, I've got some guests here I'd like to
Oh,
introduce, if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely.
I have Lincoln County Sheriff Joyce McConnell and Chief Deputy Jeff Bradford from Lincoln County in Fayetteville. Y'all please stand.
Yeah, okay. Great. Yes, thank you for being with us.
And
All
also
right.
I have Motlow College President Michael Torrance sitting in the back. So
Great.
welcome,
Thank you.
Torrance.
I'm
Thank
sure
you.
you're buying lunch. Is that right, Speaker?
Probably.
Okay. All right. Go right ahead, sir.
This legislation is helping to meet the workforce needs in my district. In 2016, we passed legislation which would allow a student who is taking a required course for a bachelor's degree designed to train professionals in the production of fermented or distilled foods or beverage products to taste alcohol beverage as part of the instruction in the required course. Motlow State Community College has partnered with Jack Daniels and Uncle Nery's to develop such an associate's degree in distilled spirits that will meet critical needs for our industry. This legislation would allow the same access for students enrolled in our community and technical colleges that in 2016 legislation provide for our university students. No student under 21 will be able to receive alcohol unless it is delivered as a part of the student's course requirements. The current definition of taste, that is the code, and the code remains the same and defines taste as drawing an alcoholic beverage into the mouth, but does not include swallowing. With that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Good explanation. Further, any questions to the sponsor? I see none. Got a call. We have a call for the question. See no objections, so let us vote on House Bill 2020. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. And Speaker, you're headed to calendar and rules, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. As a reminder, members, item number 10, and we have already addressed, so that positions us to item number 11. Chairman Hawk, you're coming in today with House Bill 2280, no amendments. And we got a motion and a second, and you, sir, are recognized.
Thank you, Chairman and members. Forgive my voice. The tulip poplars blooming outside have gotten the best of me today. So, House Bill 2280 comes to us from Greene County, where last summer there was a very large outdoor event that was scheduled to occur in a very rural part of the community. The event intended to sell alcohol by obtaining an ABC one-time license for special occasions. However, the location of the event was in an area of the county that had not passed the liquor by the drink referendum. When our local officials asked the ABC about the event, they found out that the law does not give local government any control over these events. So what the bill does is require an ABC special occasion applicant to first receive local approval if the event is located in an area that has not passed liquor by the drink referendum. it's something to help our communities out, Chairman and members.
Great, thank you, sir. Now, we do have Mr. Rummage here. Are there any questions regarding this? I wouldn't think so. We got any questions then to the sponsor? See none. I've got a call for the question and I see no objections. So let us vote on House Bill 2280. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. And Chairman Hawk, you're headed to 2280 passes, and it's going to calendar and rules, sir.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Chairman.
sir.
Thank you, Chairman and members.
Of course. Item number 12, House Bill 1874. Our dear Chairman Crawford, come on up. And we've got a motion and a second already. And I see, sir, prepared. We've got an amendment which rewrites the bill. Could you give us that tracking code, please? Thank you. That is correct. And we have already a motion and a second on the amendment. I see no objections. Let's vote and let's get it on the bill. Amendment 15079. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes prevail. And Chairman Crawford, it is now on your bill 1874. Would you please give us an explanation, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. With the amendment, all we were doing was striking the first sentence out of the actual bill and to make it easier for people to understand and make no confusion on what we were doing. This bill basically requires if you have a emergency blue light phone and is located on your property or on your campus or a large event, that when you pick up that phone and it goes to either the campus security office, which they have certified officers, or if it goes to 911, they're already being recorded. And the large events will go to 911 as well, more than likely. But what this bill would do is give us a record that we could go back and review, actually listen to that phone call, because the court cases can be pushed back so far. You know, it'd be nice to be able to review that. And with the situation that happened in Georgia just a few weeks ago, you know, to be able to have that description and be able to give that to your officers or campus security on who they need to be looking for, this would be a great help. And as a father, I have a 24-year-old daughter. It blew my mind that not all these campuses were recording their blue light calls. And we only have 3 in the state of Tennessee now. TBR has been very supportive of this bill. Security and Highway Patrol, everybody's been really good about it. But those 3 campuses, that's where your fiscal note of $6,000 comes into effect.
Yeah, good bill. Thank you for that. Questions to the sponsor? We've got a call for the question on the bill already. That's good. So those, see no objections. Let us vote on House Bill 1874 as amended. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. And you're headed to GovOps, sir.
Thank you, committee. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. House Bill 2143, that's item number 13. We've been looking forward to this the presence of Representative Martin. Representative Martin, there are no amendments. We got a motion already and a second, and you, sir, are recognized. Welcome to State Gov Committee, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I've never felt more welcome to a committee.
I
than-
know it, boy.
than
I
you.
tell you, I appreciate that.
And I just want that to
I
be on the
appreciate
record. What this bill seeks to do is to help us to enlist some quality families in the foster care to be foster parents. And what this bill does is it seeks to take a step toward addressing the issue by allowing Tennessee state employees to complete the training to become foster parents during their employment without having to use their paid sick, annual, or compensatory time. And so the thought is that these people have good jobs working for the state. They'll be able to be good foster parents if they choose to do that. And with that, I'm standing ready to answer any question you might have.
Thank you, sir, for that explanation. Yes, Chair Lady Littleton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for bringing this bill. You know how I feel about foster parents and anything that we could do to recruit to help them and make it easier for them to get the courses. And even if they're at night, then some of them have to leave their families and be away at night too. So thank you for bringing this.
Yep. Thank you. Follow up.
One thing I
Representative
would
Martin.
say, thank you for those comments. You know, one thing that I would hope would come out of this is that some of our large employers across the state would perhaps follow the lead of the state and provide that type of opportunity for some of their employees.
Okay. Further questions to the sponsor? Questions has been called. I see no objections. Let us vote on House Bill 2143. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. And you're headed, Representative Martin, to Calendar and Rules, sir. Thank you. Item number 14, House Bill 1554, and we've already gotten a motion and I heard a second. Representatives or Chairman Slater, this one is carrying we got two amendments coming on.
That
this.
is correct.
All right.
Amendment.
Let's begin with amendment number 1, please, which initially would rewrite the bill. Give me that tracking code, please.
That is 014288.
That is correct. So, members, can we get this one on? We do. We got a motion and a second. Let's get this one on. Those in favor of 14288 amendment, please say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes have it. It is now on the bill. Let's move to amendment number 2, tracking code,
Is
Chairman Slater.
Yes, 015717.
That is correct, sir. All right, got a motion on this one. I hope we do. We have a motion and a second. See, if I see no objections, we're going to vote. And those in favor of amendment 15717, please say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes have it. And now we both of those, Chairman Slater, are on your bill, House Bill 1554. Can you now explain?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee members. Last year, we passed legislation to grant paid parental leave to state employees for the birth or adoption of a child. This legislation, as amended, will also provide paid parental leave to state employees who foster a child. The paid parental leave would be 6 weeks. And as amended, if a foster care parent uses only a fraction of that leave, the parent may also use the balance of leave for subsequent placements. And with that explanation, I stand ready for questions.
All right, you've heard an explanation of the bill itself and the 2 amendments. Any questions to the sponsor? I see none, and I've got a call for the question. So, no objections? Let us vote on House Bill 1554 as amended. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes prevail, and that one is headed to Calendar and Rules, Chairman.
Thank you, committee.
Stay put. We are going to now recognize you on House Bill 1919. No amendments, and we got a motion and a second. Chairman Slater, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And this is a bill that makes some changes to the definition of mutual aid. Currently, an occurrence of mutual aid is when there is a threat of an event or an actual event and its aftermath, whether natural or man-made, that could lead to substantial, and this is the word that is being changed, would be changed with this legislation, that could lead to substantial bodily injury or property damage, and that could lead to the declaration of a state of emergency. This bill would remove the word substantial and would remove the requirement that it could lead to the declaration of a state of emergency. The reason for this change would be to ensure that emergency personnel and departments are not inadvertently losing their liability coverage when responding, there we go.
You're
easy
fine.
for you to say, responding to mutual aid calls.
Sure.
And with that, I stand ready for questions if I can get my tongue untwisted.
Oh, you're fine. Hey, it happens to all of us, sir. Any questions to the sponsor? Yes, we have a question on the bill. I see no objections. Let us vote on House Bill 1919. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes have it. And that one prevails. And you're going to calendar and rules.
Thank you, committee.
That
Thank
one
you,
as
Chairman.
well. Okay. Thank you, Chairman. Appreciate you. That moves us into item number, whoa, no, I'm looking ahead here. Item number 16. Oh my goodness, the long-awaited Representative Barrett. He comes to us from last week, and bless his heart, he wasn't here when he was first called, but you are here now. We've got a motion and a second, and it's it's an HJR 810. See an amendment traveling with this. I understand it rewrites the bill. Representative Barrett, could you give us the tracking code, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Again, thank you for that warm welcome. Tracking code 013425.
That is correct. Do we have a motion and a second on the amendment? We do. If no objections, we are going to vote on amendment 13425. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, like sign. No. Okay. Ayes have it. It is now on the bill. Representative Barrett, you are now recognized on HJR 810, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We all have our fair share of critics who are quick to throw out their opinions on everything that we do up here, and our governor is not immune to that either. So every now and then it's nice to hear something good. So this resolution commends the governor for supporting our friends in Texas and Governor Abbott in his efforts to secure the border.
Got that. Okay, that's it. All right, Representative Pearson, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Chairman and sponsor. The challenge that I have with this, and it's come up a couple of times in this committee, is related to supporting an action of a state who claims that there is an invasion happening. I believe that's language that you have as well. And part of it is related to the guarantee clause, or at least what I read about your bill. And the guarantee clause within the United States Constitution is really engages our executive, which is the president, and the legislative branch. In this case, it was related to Congress. So why should the actions of a state claiming the constitutional authority of the federal government be something that we commend, particularly when it's dealing with actions that could be more detrimental than helpful to solving the problem?
Representative Barrett, you recognized.
Well, I think we have a fundamental disagreement as to whether or not something is helpful or causing more problems than it may seem. And more importantly, the issue at question here, we're not passing a bill, we're passing a resolution to commend the governor and urge him to continue supporting Texas. But if we want to get into the nuts and bolts of the invasion and the Constitution, essentially what I would offer to you is that the Constitution demands, not only authorizes, but demands that the states have the right to, and really the duty to defend their borders when the federal government does not do so. And that's the situation that Texas finds itself in right now. And as we're all finding out, all 50 states, or at least the lower 48 in particular, is that when the federal government doesn't do their duty and fulfill their obligation to defend our state's borders, then we all are in the same boat and we all end up having negative consequences as a result of that. So that's why I want to commend the governor for his support for Governor Abbott in Texas and urge him to continue providing support to Texas.
Quick follow-up, Representative Pearson.
Thank you
You're
so much.
recognized, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. In reading this, the United States of America is obligated its responsibility to enforce federal immigration laws to protect several states, resulting in unprecedented illegal immigration, with more than 6 million illegal immigrants crossing our southern border in just 3 years. It misses a whole lot of context, such as the removal of Title 42, which was in effect due to the COVID-19 pandemic that we were experiencing. This legislation, I fear, continues a line of xenophobic legislation that encourages us to be afraid of people who are immigrants, that encourages us or uses language that tells us that they're, by using the word invasion, it's like some attacker is coming to get us. And I really don't believe that is the that is something that we should encourage. And I would just encourage you on this as relates to the guarantee clause that's mentioned here, is that you just look at Luther v. Borden in the Supreme Court of 1849, where it really separates the fact that the executive, in this case, the president's responsibility, and the legislature, as relates to Congress's responsibility to uphold and protect us if there is an invasion, and that what is being called an invasion is a political word and a political showman, but not an actual invasion, which in this case would have been meaning foreign countries, in essence, attacking our borders that we would need to protect ourselves from, not people who are seeking exile and asylum. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Thank you, Representative Pearson. Representative McCallum, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and sponsor. Thank you for bringing this. You and I have had numerous conversations about this, and we are of sound mind and similar thoughts on this same issue that we have. And yes, we do have an issue on our southern border, and I appreciate the steps that our state, as well as the state of Texas, have done to make meaningful progress, at least where the federal government would not. So thank you.
All right. Very, very good. We have called for the question. Any objections? I see none. Let us vote on, as amended, HJR 810. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. And the ayes prevail. And you, sir, are headed to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
You are welcome. And item number 17 brings us to our dear chairman, Chairman Reagan, with House Bill 1661. Do we have a motion? We do, and we have a second on that. Chairman, we've got some amendments, one or two, or which one would apply, sir, or both?
Actually, the amendment I have, sir, is 13955.
Okay. All right. That is correct. We do have an amendment with that tracking code number. We have a motion, yes, and we have a second on that one. So no objection. We're going to vote on amendment 13955. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, and it is now on the bill. Is that the only one then, sir?
That's all I'm showing, sir. Do you have
Okay.
another?
I do. We do. We are showing Representative or Chairman 14854. 14854.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I'd like to put that one on.
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. He concurs that we do need to get this one on. So yes, Chair Lady Littleton has given me the wink, and she says yes. Let's get a motion here, and we got a second. So those I see no objections. Let's get this one voted on. Those in favor of 14854, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail, and that one is now on House Bill 1661. Okay, Chairman Reagan, you
Thank you.
may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If I could, a point of personal privilege.
Of
I would like
course.
to introduce the committee to my shadow today. Charles
Sure.
Cherry, would you please stand, please? From Stewart
All
County High
right.
School.
Yes. Thank you.
To the bill. This bill is essentially taking what is currently in criminal code, Title 39 for obscenity, and repeating it in Title 10, which is libraries. The rationale behind that, quite straightforwardly, is I've talked to a number of DAs before I drafted this bill, and they said they could easily prosecute under Title 39 for obscenity. However, it would come in line after the rapes, murders, and robberies. And in short, they would never have enough staff or enough time to do it. So what this bill does is move the criteria that's in Title 39. It doesn't move it, actually it copies it into Title 10. And it changes one important fact. All the definitions that are in Title 39 are moved to Title 10. But the fact that changes is in Title 39. The implication is that community standards are determined in a court. This bill allows community standards to be determined by a petition. The petition is basically 5% of the number of legal voters who voted in the last gubernatorial election. If a petition of that size is put together, then that signifies the community intent. In order to ensure that we have the capability of minimizing disruptions. This bill also has a requirement for any group of citizens who want to run this petition to go to the library 30 days in advance and inform the librarian and hopefully the library board that they intend to do this petition. There's 30 days then for them to work out the disagreements over what may be obscene. And by the way, I will stress the obscenity piece of this is for minors. It is not banning books for adults, but that which is available to minors. With that explanation, I'll also add that there is a dispute resolution mechanism. Should the petition be declared valid by the Election Commission, which checks the signatures, then the library would be required to take immediate action to take any material that is considered obscene out of the ordinary reach and view of minors. Does not ban it. It's still available to adults, but not to minors. If there's a dispute over that, this bill allows for the contested case mechanism, which is currently in Title IV. Again, hopefully low cost, not involving lawyers most of the way. The first step is a meeting between the aggrieved parties. The second step is before an administrative law judge. And if there's no agreement after that, then it goes to a court, a civil court. And that would resolve it under the rule of law. Simply stated, this bill is about making sure that our minors are protected. Each of you should have received a package distributed by my intern. If you did not, the Sergeant at Arms has one of those for your availability to view as an example of some of the materials that are currently available in our public libraries to minors, completely unrestricted. I would ask that you vote in favor of this bill because minors in our code have special privileges and special protections. Among them is a protection from exposure to obscenity. I ask for your support and stand ready for questions.
Chairman, we have, before we get to, we do have a lineup of members here that would like to speak, but we also have a request for testimony. We have three people, and those three, if you would, please make your way up to the table. You all know the routine, your name, and well, maybe there's only two. I'm sorry, I thought there were three. Okay. If you would, please, your name and who your affiliation with, please. Who wants to go first? 3 minutes, ladies, please. Oh, wait a minute. Hold. I'm sorry. I've got to go out of session. I have to go. No objection. We'll go out of session.
Thank you. My name is Macy Fluharty. I'm a Davidson County resident. The sponsor of this bill claims that libraries shelve pornography, which is hard to believe, especially considering this is a violation of obscenity laws that is commonly a false claim by far-right extremists. The sponsor is also adamant that this is not a book banning bill. I worry this petition process will be used to make it so by said extremists. Young adult books are written to relate to teenagers. This can be done through a handful of themes, some of which can involve romantic relationships. How does this bill affect these books that could be some use in enlightenment? I also wonder how this could affect manga books and other graphic novels. Manga books normally also follow character storylines that could be of the same theme. These storylines can also depict battle scenes, which could make the art of manga even more susceptible to censorship. Lastly, I am curious on how this petition process can affect religious text, especially those prone to both types of themes. Should we be denying children the opportunity to explore religion just because 5% or less of a district does not approve of the Bible stories? In 1939, the Library Bill of Rights was created and adopted by the American Library Association. The library director responsible for the first draft said this bill was designed to speak out against growing intolerance, suppression of free speech, and censorship affecting the rights of minorities and individuals. For the sake of time and relevance, I will read the first two articles of this act. 1, books and other library resources should be provided for the interest, information, and enlightenment of all people of the community of the library serves. Materials should not be excluded because of origin, background, or views of those contributing to their creation. 2, libraries should provide materials and information presenting all points on current and historical issues. Materials should not be prescribed or removed because of partisan or doctrinal disapproval. This bill directly challenges many factors of the Library Bill of Rights and librarian ethics under Tennessee's repeated guise of protecting children. The Library Bill of Rights also calls for libraries to challenge censorship, as well as to cooperate with all people concerned with resisting abridgment of free speech and free access to ideas. While libraries will have the ability to challenge censorship, I can only imagine the type of middleman disruptive groups like Moms for Liberty would bring to mediate such proceedings. Not to mention the burden that this puts on librarians, as well as the libraries themselves, should they need to hire representation to challenge biased petitions. Libraries are meant to be a source of ideas and neutral information for people to learn from. This bill creates a pathway to turn our neutral source of knowledge into a biased funnel of information that could leave our youth uneducated and underprepared for the real world. If there is a book so egregious in libraries, it should be brought to the attention of a librarian and ultimately up that library how they curate their shelves. This bill could lead to a slippery slope into book banning. Please vote no.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, my name is Carrie Lambert. I'm the Vice President of the Rutherford County Library Alliance, and I am here because I'm very concerned about this bill. This bill is almost identical to the Altman resolution in Wichita Falls, Texas. I want to be clear, this is not about book banning. The Altman resolution was about moving books from the children's section to the adult section. So we're looking at the same thing. The differences between the two, there's only two that I could find. This bill calls for adult legal residents to sign the petition, whereas the Altman resolution required you to be a library patron. The other difference is the Altman resolution mentions most appropriately read with parental approval and or supervision, whereas this bill only mentions not meeting contemporary community standards. Regarding the Altman resolution, I'd like to read a few notes from the judgment. The Altman resolution can hardly be said to support parents' rights as it permits a non-parent to dictate what someone else's child may read and allows one parent to suppress material not only for her own child, but for all others in the community. The resolution contains no further explanatory language and no limitations on the criteria that may be used to determine a book's appropriateness. In addition, by granting removal power to any group of library patrons at any time, the resolution impermissibly creates a risk of arbitrary and discriminatory application. The Altman resolution unconstitutionally burdens the First Amendment rights of browsing library patrons. It would be absurd to conclude the Altman resolution imposed no additional burdens on targeted material, for if this was true, then the resolution would do absolutely nothing to advance the purported interest in having children read these books with parental approval and or supervision. And the last quote from the judgment, if a parent wishes to prevent her child from reading a particular book, that parent can and should accompany the child to the library and should not prevent all children in the community from gaining access to constitutionally protected materials. Where First Amendment rights are concerned, those seeking to restrict access to information should be forced to take affirmative steps to shield themselves from unwanted materials. The onus should not be on the general public to overcome barriers to their access to fully protected information. And this contemporary community standards is only one of 3 prongs to the Miller test. And I did the math, this 5% of people who voted in the last gubernatorial election. For Rutherford County, we have 206,24 registered voters, 75,589 voted, or 36.69%. 5% of that is 3,780 or 1.8%. And the actual population of Rutherford County in 2021, which is a year before that election, was 352,182. So 1.01% of the community gets to determine the community standards for the entire community.
Thank you, ma'am. Your 3 minutes is up. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. Any questions to the sponsor while we're out of session? Yes, Representative Pearson.
Thank you so much, Chairman, and thank you both so much for coming. I mean, the fact that we would be doing something like this, banning books or telling the librarians they're responsible for doing what I would argue would be a parent's job, right, is pretty remarkable here. You mentioned, Macy, the potential abuse here, and you mentioned an organization that I know has done this a lot. 40% of the books that have been banned in our country have come out of Florida. Can you talk about the concerns about the abuse of this 1%, which isn't really 1% of the population?
And please, not being rude, the time is 7 minutes, and I'm not trying to
thank you,
be rude
Chairman.
nor
I-
disrespectful. And I'm not referring to you, Representative Pearson. If the witness would just briefly, as quick as you can, please.
Thank you. I'm sorry, can you repeat that
No,
shortly?
what are your concerns about people abusing this power?
So from what I can tell with this bill, it's pretty broad. It doesn't specifically say like pornographic images or anything like that. The state has a history of claiming things like racism is a divisive concept and should be taken out of the eyes of children. So I worry that current societal issues and things that will affect many people in their future and possibly in their childhood will be taken away from their view, and they will feel lost because they can't figure out what's going on.
Okay.
And just very quickly, if you would mention, you said, in the court case that there are constitutionally protected rights that people have to information.
Yes.
And in that case, it was being abridged. Can you talk just for 1 minute about that?
Quickly, yes.
Everyone has the right to free access to information as part of the First Amendment. And my best recommendation is to look up a certain case, since we don't have a lot of time, is Denver Area Education Telecommunication Consortium, Inc. versus the FCC from 1996. That was a TV station that you had to opt in to receive channels instead of opting out, and it was deemed unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional to create barriers to the access of information. As far as obscene cannot be defined. The Supreme Court spent 16 years trying to define the word obscene. They were incapable of doing that. So they came up with the Miller test, and the Miller test says you have to take the entire material as a whole and say that the only purpose that exists is to create sexual excitement and appeal to the prurient interest. And prurient means an unnatural and unhealthy interest in sex, not a natural or healthy interest in sex, an unhealthy or unnatural interest in sex. And
Thank
I mean,
you.
I have so much evidence here.
Thank you so much. I know we're out of time. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Any further questions? If not, we need to get back into session. I see no objections. We're back into session, and thank you, ladies. Chairman, I've just snapped. It's been brought to my attention. I see where the Senate has deferred this to their summer study. Were you aware?
No, sir, I was not.
That's according to my information here.
My sponsor has not told me that, sir. My Senate sponsor.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I could, please, let me address some comments that were made. Contrary to what you heard, the definitions are lifted straight out of the criminal code. In the bill, it references Title 39-17-901 as for those definitions of harmful to minors, depict nudity, be obscene, patently offensive, period interest, sadomasochistic abuse, sexual conduct, etc. All those are defined already in our code, contrary to the assertions that were made here. These are not new. By taking this and repeating it under Title 10, it gets rid of the possibility that a district attorney could hold a librarian criminally responsible. This gives the opportunity for this to be done in a non-criminal fashion. Additionally, I'll point out, 18-year-old and under are minors. They do not enjoy the same First Amendment rights as all other citizens. They are protected from obscenity. And therefore, this bill is about protecting them. As far as parental access, there's nothing in this bill that prevents a parent from going and checking out any book they want to and giving it to their child to read. This merely prevents the child from doing it without the parent.
Now I'm back on. Okay. Next will be Chairman Powers. You're recognized. All right, Chairman Powers, we've got a call for the question on the bill. I see no objections. Let us vote on House Bill 1661 as amended. Those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes prevail. And Chairman, this is headed to Gov Ops.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Committee.
Ladies, let's see. It is 3 minutes. I've got to get out of here. So before we adjourn, just a moment. Before we adjourn, item 28, House Bill 2138 is now off notice. So if there's no pending, we've already got a motion to adjourn. I got a second. So we are adjourned. Thank you.